from the outside perspective, I think that there's a delusion that money is supposed to fix everything, right?
Oh, 100%.
Like, yeah. I think is a true delusion, right? Like, oh, he got million some dollars. He shouldn't be stressed out. He shouldn't have mental issues. You know, I think what people also don't realize is like, we've been doing it since we were 7, 8, 9 years old.
For free.
Yeah.
No, not even that, but just like that's been our sole focus to the point like that had become our identity, right?
Yeah.
And when you leave the game, like you have to find it's like, who am I?
I'm Ndamukong Suh, and welcome to No Free Lunch, where we have real conversations with athletes, business leaders, and experts about what it actually takes to succeed at the highest level. My guest today, yes, I said guest. One was the most reliable wide receiver of his generation. I won a Super Bowl with the other. They are co-hosts of the Fourth and South podcast. Let's talk to today's guests, Leonard Fournette and Jarvis Landry, right here on No Free Lunch. Gentlemen, thank you for joining No Free Lunch. I appreciate y'all. Fourth and South was a fun time to say the least. But welcome to the show, Jarvis and Leonard. It's exciting to be able to talk to both of y'all.
Thanks for having us, dog.
Thanks for having us.
No question. So y'all are my Louisiana Young Bulls, as I like to call you. Mm-hmm. I was running that city and town before y'all got there. So just let's make that loud and clear. But I'm curious, y'all grew up in and around Louisiana, and what was it like for y'all growing up in that area, especially having to go through Hurricane Katrina and all the trials and tribulations? How did that set you up and prepare you for life?
Yeah, Leonard was more impacted, so I'll let Leonard talk about that first, and then I'll chime in.
Well, Jarvis is from Convict, Louisiana. I'm more from New Orleans. I'm from the city. So,
okay.
Just growing up, man, I say, it was cool. We had the average, violence, killing in our neighborhoods. But also a lot of the guys, like my father, who took a lot of us young guys under his wing and kind of was a father figure for everybody in my hood growing up, right? And he a stand-up guy. Some people very left, some people very right, but he made sure I stayed the course, not follow behind some of my cousins, my family members. And I stuck with football. He seen I had a passion for it. He seen that could be my way out. And I'm talking about, bro, 7 years old, trash bag on, running steps at the park. Now it was real. Me and my younger brother Leonard at the park running. Just I guess he was billing like never to quit, right? And his favorite thing he always said, man, he's like, man, everybody is hungry. Everybody wants it, but you gotta be starving. And that's something that stuck with me ever since I was a child. And just speaking on Katrina, oh man, I slept on a bridge 4 days and 5 nights for Katrina.
4 days and 5 nights.
4 days and 5 nights. Sure. I think it was, I'm not sure the name of the hotel was, but the water was coming up to the top, almost to the second floor, and we had to rush our whole family down there. My grandma at the time couldn't walk, so we stole a boat for her so she can move around. My grandparents. So, man, that definitely made me, made me who I am. And just thinking back on the past, we was kids, so we didn't know the impact it even played with our parents. Trying to survive, looting. Bro, we stole a barbecue grill, was grilling on the bridge for the whole bridge. The whole bridge we was grilling. So, man, that was just some of the things that made me the man who I am today. Seeing dead bodies in the water, having to push them to the side just to get to where we needed to go. It was different, man. It was different, but it definitely embarked on my life. It was a challenge that we made it through. And after we got through New Orleans, we stole like 5 U-Haul trucks, right? Putting all our family and everybody in there. And I wound up playing football. I started back playing football in Corpus Christi, Texas. In Taft, Texas. So that was my little journey for everything.
Okay, man, that's impressive. Talking about moving dead bodies, living under a bridge for 4 nights and 5 days, man. Right. I couldn't imagine having to go through anything of that nature, let alone bouncing back from that the way you did.
Oh, the funny thing, we was on top of the bridge. Like the highway, we was on the highway.
Yeah.
The whole New Orleans on the highway, man. That was crazy. And it's so funny, like even now, when I talk to some people, it's like, man, I was on a bridge. We probably you probably was my neighbor on the bridge. Like we probably was sleeping next to each other because it was so from the water and the weather. It was so cold at night. We had to bundle and sleep under each other.
Yeah.
So that's my little story.
Now, Jarvis, what about yourself?
Yeah, man. It wasn't as traumatic as that, right? You know, my story is a little bit different. I'm more on the outskirts of New Orleans, so we were affected. Obviously, we had to evacuate. We actually went to one of my uncle's house, who had at that time he had a brick house. We lived in a trailer, so you know, with those winds, the weather like that, you know, it's dangerous to try to stay in a trailer, you know. And we didn't know, honestly. Like, obviously, Louisiana had always been kind of affected by like weather, severe weather and stuff like that. But this was like the mecca, you know what I mean, of like storms, you know. So we didn't really know. And obviously in Louisiana, Leonard will tell you, we ain't leaving, you know, hurricane, like whatever it is, we ain't nobody leaving. So, you know, we all are unprepared in a way, you know what I mean? Like, and we thugged it out. But man, it was again, it was a scary time for everyone. No one knew what was happening. And you know, we finally got some relief and everything going on in New Orleans. Most of my neighborhood was then kind of changed into all of the neighborhoods that evacuated from New Orleans. Now they're in like my neighborhoods, right? Yeah. So like our crime rate goes up at that point. You know what I mean? Like theft goes up, and now mind you, not saying that everybody that came from New Orleans were bad people, right? But you know, people were trying to figure out what their next move was. People were trying to figure out what their next meal was. Right? So they're in a new environment. They're in a new environment, and you know, it's a dog eat dog, like you say. So, you know, crime rate go up. So now I'm starting to see, you know, I've seen like, you know, domestic violence, and I've seen like people go to jail for, you know, shooting, but never really killing someone, right? But now in my neighborhood, like people like getting smacked, like, and it's a real thing, you know what I mean? So I saw like the kind of residuals of New Orleans kind of like into our neighborhoods that, you know, kind of exposed me to a lot of things that I hadn't seen yet. But then also, you know, I got a lot of good friends that I met throughout that time too. A lot of people from New Orleans came to our schools and stuff like that. And, you know, I still got homies to this day that's from New Orleans that, you know, kind of evacuated to our area. And like, we still cool to this day. So, but yeah, outside of that, man, from a sports perspective, from a family perspective, man, it was great. You know, I lived in a small town, one of those places where you don't know you have much. You don't have that much until you go other places. You know what I mean? And we made the most of it. Always surrounded by family, always having barbecues, crawfish balls, you know, sports was the biggest thing in our neighborhood. So that was one of the reasons why, you know, it was easy to just kind of block everything else out and play sports. That was always for me going to be the vehicle. And it worked out. So we're here.
No, that's insane, but let alone a lot of blessings in disguise, to say the least, that you were able to get through that. One, again, like I said, 4 nights, 5 days living on top of a bridge, then moving your mobile home, for lack of better words, to a whole nother city and trying to go live with your uncle. I'm curious, when you guys grew up in that environment, how do you guys value and look at money at an early age, and what does it mean to you at that particular point in time?
I didn't know too much, right? Trina came, I was probably 7, 8 years old at the time, right? And money-wise, he never had a problem. My father always found a way. But I think the most valuable lesson it taught me, as far as life, be prepared.
Yeah.
Right? Like Jarvis said, man, we took hurricanes like it was jokes, because it never really impacted Louisiana. Right? We had several before that when we only got rain. And now that I'm older and speaking on the financial part, I'm like, okay, like living in Florida, hurricanes do come, right? I have the means to get my family out there ahead of time, be urgent, you know, because I can only imagine us as men trying to survive that and take care of our kids. We have parents. Right, it's just so much. So it just from the financial point of view of it, have the money to when things go south or go left, you have the means to take care of your business.
Yeah. Yeah, for me, man, it was, I think you was in the room when I said this in Miami. I said that if someone ever could say that I played this game for money, like they can come and like beat the shit out of me. I forget what I said. I said something along those lines, right? But I guess to answer your question, like I never really understood money, right? I always knew that family and our community, like those were like the things that were like the most important. So
those were your
I never
riches.
understood. Yeah, right. Like we were rich in that way. You know what I mean? And like Leonard said, like in Louisiana, for the most part, right, growing up from where we're from, most of our parents are struggling just to put food on the table, struggling to pay the bills, struggling to get us to practice, put gas in the car. So, it's a very like, high pressure situation all the time, and we could all attest to this on here right now and say like, without our parents, we wouldn't be here, right? They made a lot of sacrifices for us to make, our life a bit easier. But nowadays, like for my kids, right, it's one of those things where I'm trying to do the right things as a father, as far as setting up their future, right, through estate planning, so on and so forth. But also allow them to know that their value is not going to be in a dollar amount. Like their value, right, is not going to be only what I did and left them with, right? It's gonna, like, you still got to work. You still gotta, you still gotta graduate from high school. You get a little bit. You still got to graduate from college. You get a little bit. You know what I mean? Like it's still things in there where they understand like, nothing comes easy, even though we worked hard for what we have, right? Nothing comes easy. And that's something that I've kind of always grew up with, you know what I mean? Like your relationships, how you treat people, what's your values, like those things to me are worth more than money. So
yeah, even from that side, right? I had to put my parents in a financial literacy class too, to understand like the money that I'm going to give you, make sure you do right by it, right? I'm not a bank, right? I have kids myself, I have a family of my own, and I want y'all to be in the best position. When this money I do give y'all paying the bills, Mike could take a vacay here and there, but understand I ain't no well. Like this it's gonna stop at one point just to be selfish and think about my kids and my family.
I want to dive a little bit more into that. What was that process like with your parents in putting them, quote unquote, in a financial literacy class and really having those tough conversations? Because for me, I was fortunate enough and blessed enough. Both my parents were very hardworking people, but they never asked me for anything. I had to kind of force to give them stuff. And I had the foresight like you had to say, hey, you guys should take a class and have this understanding, because none of us have had $1 million to know how to manage $1 million, let alone $100 million from that standpoint. And so I'm going to go find resources to be able to do that. So how did you have those conversations with your parents at that particular point in time when you made that as a requirement of giving them money?
Yeah, I did it my like the mid of my rookie year.
Okay.
Right. 20-some years old, $19 million, that's a lot of money. Right. And in hindsight, if you're not used to having that, you'll think, oh, forever. Like this could last us for forever. But now you're not thinking about when the people come at you with propositions of investing your money, right? I had majority of my money I had to put in an annuity for my kids. Like this understanding, man, that your money is all type of ways that your money could grow too, right? So when I was in classes and I really, sometimes, like say in school, your teacher be like, this, you be like, yeah. But when they're dealing with my livelihood, I have to understand this. I have to make sure my kids understand this. Whenever they might play sports, whatever the case may be, I want to make sure I have the financial background to help everyone around me by any means. So even when I had to have that tough conversation with my parents, because me personally, I'm a mama's boy. I love my mama to death. I would love to take care of my mama for life, but in hindsight, if I don't have $1 billion, I can't do that.
Yeah.
Right. I'm pouring into my kids playing sports, school, wife want to take a vacation. Not to mention a lot of investments comes your way. Like, all right, now I want to put money here. I want to put money here, right? So it was definitely hard telling my mother no. Like she be like, I said no. I'm like, and it made me feel away, right? But also thinking about, all right, Leonard, you're doing this for a better cause. Your kids need this. You have to leave something for your kids. I want to be the grandfather, they say, man, Daddy Leonard did it right for us. And that's all it's about for me.
I think as change makers, right? Like, a big thing in Louisiana, I know in my family, right, of like breaking generational curses, right? Like, and one of those things is financially, right? I think for my mom and also like what I'm hearing from Leonard as well, it's like, well, my mom is like, because we didn't have the type of money that we're able to have now, right? We don't understand how we can use that money to work for us. We don't understand how to we don't know what budgets are, right? We don't know, like, and those are the things where even for my mom, I'm like, hey, listen, you get your monthly, right? But if you need something after this, you can't call me, right? Yeah. And eventually it kind of drew a wedge a little bit between me and my mom's relationship, right? And as a player too, and as somebody that was trying to think about the future, think about his kids, think about the legacy, I was like, well, if you mad at me for this, then like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't talking to my mama now. You know what I mean? Like, and part of that also was I had to mature enough to understand that, my mom is also in a different season in her life. She's also now have access to resources. She actually have money in her pocket to be able to get something for her grandchildren, buy something for herself. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and not have to worry about taking care of her kids or making sure the bill's paid, and those things go a long way. So, based off of what Leonard's saying as well, like even for me, for my mom, it's just more of like trying to get her with my financial team as quarterly, right? Hey, talk about your monthly expenses, talk about budgeting. You know what I mean? I think when our parents as well, being that we didn't come from money, can understand how we can let money work for us. And also that it doesn't grow on trees, that we need to save. You know what I'm saying? Like the sooner they understand that, the better it could be for athletes or anyone at that, for that matter, that is financially stable enough to take care of other people. You know what I mean? In a way, or support other people.
Y'all definitely are game changers when it comes to that, and change agents of, never even having the thought of saying, parents, y'all got to go through these financial literacy classes just like I got to go through them at the end of the day and get this education. So I'm curious, you guys had wake-up calls when it came to money at an early age, especially when you turned pro, but I want to go back a little bit to being superstar, 5-star recruits and really having every single college in and around the country after you guys, but you both chose to go to LSU. And where was there a moment to say, man, I got to LSU and this is real big time college football and I'm ready to embrace that? If so, was there a time and period or a moment while you were at LSU when you had that? I'm
gonna let Jarvis go first since
Nah, cause how you got there and how I got there look much different.
Let's dive into that. Go ahead, Juice.
Much different. Nah. My high school journey wasn't as close to what it probably could have been. Right, I probably took like 2 official visits throughout that whole entire process. One was Tennessee, Alabama, LSU, so 3. My mom pretty much made the decision for me to stay home, stay in Louisiana. She wanted to be close to me. She wanted to be able to reach out and touch me. And honestly, I wanted to go to play for Oregon.
Oh, really?
I wanted to play for Oregon. You wanted to come
to the great state of Oregon.
I wanted to go to the other side of the country. I wanted to leave Louisiana, go to the other side of the country, do my thing, looking sweet in the uniforms, the helmets. That was like my my dream. Yep. But my mom said, you know what, nah, son, you're going to LSU. And, to go to LSU with some of the guys that we played with there, it's no question that has shaped my career, my mentality, my attitude, the work ethic that I have. And when you go to elite programs like that, you're getting the best of the best. You're getting the best schooling. You're getting the best weight room. You're getting some of the best coaching. You know what I mean? You're getting some of the best facilities. You know what I mean? All those things matter as we were developing as players. You're competing against some of the highest level talent that the state has to offer. People want to come from other states to live their dreams at LSU. So it was amazing, man. Like, honestly.
Lenny, before we get into yours, I got a follow-up for you, Juice.
Yeah.
If you could go back in time, or not, fast forward in time for better yet, NIL is full swing. Are you still going to LSU, knowing how it is in this day and age, or are you going to University of Oregon, or are you picking another school?
Man, you know what?
Because you know you're getting the bag.
Right. And I'm going to tell you this. And it might not sound right, but I guess my same philosophy that I took to the NFL of like, I don't play for money. Like I play because I love the game. I play to be in the best position possibly that can help me be successful, that can help me further my legacy in the game. Like that was the most important thing to me. So that probably would have been my outlook in college. But I would say my mom's outlook probably would have been a lot different because we were struggling at the time. So it would have been like, son, you're going to wherever they're paying the most. That's where you're going, you know? So I call a spade with that one.
Lenny, let's talk about your journey. Word on the street, Juice says it was easy, flying a kite. What was your journey like getting to LSU?
My journey was pretty, I'm not going to say simple. So I was the first 8th grader to get a scholarship from LSU and Bama.
8th grade?
8th grade.
So you saying you would have had $2, $3, $4 million in the 8th grade saying NIL chicken, here we go.
Yeah, definitely.
But why LSU? What happened there?
I think to be honest, it was I made it. I didn't decide to make that pick until the Under Armour game because Burton Burns was the running back coach at Alabama. And also, he went to my high school.
Okay.
Frank Wilson, running back coach at LSU, was the top recruiter in the nation, went to my high school. Right? So I've always had ties to each and every school. But now, coming back, right? Me and my mom used to talk, it's just like, how you want your legacy to be? This like my junior year going into my senior year. I'm like, what you mean? She was like, well, Leonard, you're not from Alabama, right? I mean, you could play there, you know, and you might receive. I mean, personally, I probably would have won the Heisman twice if we being real. If we being real, I probably would have 2-time winning Heisman winner if I went with Alabama. But I thought about long term for my family. Like my family could get any job in Louisiana now.
Yeah,
you know, by me staying home. So I've always been a legacy guy. I've always put my family first. And I think just choosing LSU just made sense, right? We had former guys before me didn't choose Alabama, and I seen the outcome of that. How the state kind of hated.
Yeah,
I'm like, nah, I can't do that. I'm the golden child. They've been talking about me since 7th grade. LSU is home. And just speaking on NIL, you know, I've always had a close relationship with LSU. I'm like, man, what y'all think my NIL deal will be worth? It's like, Leonard, bro, this from the head guy, Austin Thomas at the time, he's at Ole Miss now. Mm-hmm. He's like, Leonard, you're probably getting $15 million.
15.
So in hindsight, right? And I told my parents this. I said, listen, if I'm getting $15 million a year, I can still be a kid. I can still enjoy myself. It's not really as much as a business thing, or the politics don't play as much in college as NFL. I would have stayed all 4 years in college.
Yeah, for sure.
Leonard, what kind of car were you driving? Were you driving a car when you got to campus?
Yeah, I had a Infiniti G35. I had a coupe.
Before you got to college?
Yeah, I had it. Yeah, no, I got it my senior year. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I ain't start
driving. You basically saying Leonard already went through NIL before it started.
I ain't started driving to my junior year. I wasn't able to get a whip to my junior year.
Listen, my car was
Pell Grant had to kick in all that.
My car was out the auction. My car was out the auction. I had a couple miles on there. My dad, he still has the auction license, so he sells cars here and there, but my car was out the auction.
Out the auction on 24s and
no.
612s.
I have. Listen. My coupe was nice. My coupe was nice.
I love this because now we talking about getting into some real money, and we all had our own journeys through the NFL draft. Some amazing, some in between, however you want to look at it from that perspective. But we're all successful in our own right. I'm curious, and we'll start with you, Juice. Knowing the NFL draft is getting ready to come up here shortly, what piece of advice would you have to an NFL rookie that's about to get drafted? And what would that particularly be?
Yeah, bro. If you're getting drafted in the first round, you're gonna have enough money to take care of your mom or your dad. You know what I mean? Which or whoever you decide to, right? I think definitely in that first round category, you know, you'll be in a good position to make some decisions that other rounds can't make, right? I know for me as a second round pick, I'll let y'all talk about first round from here on out. But I know for me as a second round pick, right? Like, I got my mom a car. I paid off our trailer, which was like a $19,000 balance. Got her like a, $40,000 car, which was like an Infinity something basic at the time. You know what I mean? Like, got myself a whip, and it was work time. You know what I mean? Like, I think if you go any outside of the first round, man, you have to, get you a good financial team, right? I don't think that's not a time to do any investments, right? You put your money in the bank, let it grow, compound interest, learn about that as fast as you can, and just go out there and work it off. Like, I think that's the philosophy that I'll give for anybody that's getting drafted in the second round and below. Like, take care of your mom or your pops, whatever it is, do what you got to do. After that, bro, don't even try to go get yourself a crib, get you a little apartment. Yeah. Get you something, you know what I'm saying? Don't try to go get the Ferrari when get you a little Beamer or something. Right. Get you a little, something to get you to A to B.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and yeah, man, that would be my thought process. That's how I handle it. You know what I mean? And it's allowed me to be 33, and I don't have to ever do anything ever again. My kids and their kids don't ever have to do anything ever again, right? Because we may start smart decisions from early on. Not saying that we didn't make mistakes, right? But we made smarter decisions early on.
No, I love it, man. So Lenny, you the big dog. You first round pick and making all types of chicken. You went from making $15 million in a fresh car from high school to LSU. now you in the hundreds of millions of dollars and whatnot. Tell us what your piece of advice is being a first rounder.
Get picked that high. You have to be a game changer. Also, change the organization. Mm-hmm. It's being real. And I've always was dedicated to my craft, dedicated to football in terms of wanting to be the best, wanting guys around me to be the best.
Yep.
Right. So my first talk of football was with Lee Jackson, played D-line. And I'm like, man, listen, how can I come in here and change this organization? What can I do to make us better? Whether it's my mentality that I try to pour into my teammates, right? Because not everybody's going to be alike. It's being real. Some people come from losing colleges where it's okay to lose. I was never like that. Right? We lose. I'm mad until Thursday or Wednesday. Right?
Yeah.
And that's just off my experience. Right? As you get older, you kind of get used to, okay, all right, losing is not as bad. We have a long season too. Mm-hmm. And it's not like the SEC, Juice, you lose 2 games, you out. 3 games, you out. Right? And my whole mindset had to kind of change from that aspect about working hard and now trying to provide for your organization and for your family. So that's when the daily calls have to come with your financial advisor. Man, what's going on with my money? Because you still want to know. I don't care how busy you are. Watch your pockets. Watch that account. Because they got some people who can definitely steal your money.
Yeah.
Under your nose, right? You got millions of dollars. Yeah, they might go in there and steal $200,000, $100,000. If you're not paying attention to that, you wouldn't know.
Yeah.
So make sure you have somebody on your team that can watch your each and every week and have those calls. Even have the call sometimes that's uncomfortable. Hey, bro, look, you spending too much. Like, what you got going on?
Yeah.
And have that talk with your family too.
Man, that's real, because I don't think a lot of people understand, like, having a tough conversation will open your eyes up to a lot of different things. And I remember teammates that I've had it with that I consider like little brothers. Like, man, you just got to understand how much you spending and what goes into this. And if you really want to, like Juice said, man, make this money last for generations.
Sure.
I'm talking about outside of your generation, your kids' generations, their next kids' generations. Like, you got to be smart and make quality decisions and set the groundworks and the foundations for that success. I mean, I want to get into a segment that I like to call Show Me the Receipts. And it's rapid fire questions. So I hope y'all are ready and on your toes.
Okay.
Let's see if Playoff Lenny is ready to go. What was your first paycheck when you turned pro? And do you remember how much it was?
Oh yeah, 5. I had got an instant after like 2 weeks later, $5 million. Yeah,
5 M's, just off rip.
Off rip, 5. As I came 5. I came just like that.
Okay. What about you, Juice?
No idea.
No idea.
No idea.
Not even signing bonus, nothing.
Man, put that shit in the bank. Let's rock.
I like
pissed.
it, man.
Then it took 13 receivers before me, 12 receivers before me. That's rock.
Yeah, you hot. I know you hot. You steaming over there. He was like, man, whatever you gonna give me. I'm finna come get my 100 back when it's round 2.
Definitely.
Let's rock. That's one thing, man. So my agent, I told him, bro, I was like, I'm gonna go out here and give you all the ammunition that you can, that I can give you for you to go get that next one for me. But this one, I'm gonna do all the work. Yeah, I just went out there and played, dog. For real, honestly.
I trust me, I saw it.
Yeah.
You talking about a chip? There wasn't chip on one shoulder. There was chip on both shoulders, and you was on fire. A little Sonic the Hedgehog running around.
Oh God, no, for real.
So next question: was there a check that you said, man, no matter what, I'm good? We'll start with you, Lenny.
What is good though? I don't know.
What's your definition of good? Like, you ain't never got to worry about nothing the rest of your life.
I'm always going to worry because I want to be the best. I want to continue growing.
Okay.
Financially, there's and people sometimes think it's about money. Now, it's all about the relationships too.
Yeah.
So even from that standpoint, I try my best to put myself out there to make as many as good compadres as I can.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that's all I can say about that question.
Man, I love it. I feel you. I'm in the same boat. Yeah. I'm not comfortable.
Not real. All right.
What about you, Juice?
That's same
stuff. Okay. All right. Let's move on to the next one. At one point, Juice, we'll start with you. What is one thing that you would never put a limit of spending on?
Health.
Okay. What about you, Lenny?
They say health, but all got your time. Your time is gonna come. But
hey.
For me, bro, I think I pour so much into my kids, man.
Yeah.
I let them play a variety of sports.
Yeah.
I didn't have that luxury. Right? I played baseball here and there, basketball, but my sons play soccer. My daughter's trying tennis. Gymnastics. They doing shit me and my brothers and sisters didn't have the opportunity to do. Right? My gymnastics was the bed spring in the lot, flipping on that motherfucker. That was gymnastics for us. So I think this for me, let my kids experience each and every sport. That's the best thing I can do.
Yeah, man, I feel you. I'm actually a combination of both of y'all. Juice, you know how crazy I am about taking care of my body.
Yeah.
I'm doing the same thing with my wife and getting her right, but also experiences, Lenny. Like you said, your kids, man, being able to I live over in London 2 months out of the year, having my kids come experience and see all those different things. And there's mentors that I got houses in Bordeaux and France and all types of spots. Like, giving them those experiences are super key because they only know what they know. No shame to the game. You got somewhere from bouncing on the box spring, but I want them to be able to bounce on a bouncy house.
Right.
Let's move on and out of that segment and talk a little bit about ball in life after ball, because y'all are both, and this is something I love from your guys' podcast, Fourth and South. You talk about some real conversations about what it's like leaving the game. And I don't think people really understand like the emotions, the trials, the tribulations. I mean, we're all elite in our own particular right, been the best of the best, all pros, Pro Bowls, everything across the board. But that transition out of sports, what was it like for both of you? And we'll start with you, Juice, from the standpoint of leaving the game. And I remember like seeing you just kind of be, you're visible, but you're not really visible when it comes to how you transition out. And I love that you're smiling because you know where I'm getting at. So I want to hear what your transition was like leaving the game of football.
Yeah, man, it was tough. It was something that for me, I know it happened, and for most people, it happens very abruptly, right? And it was a shock, man. I can remember still training for about 2 years and thinking like, asking God, like, bro, like I'm doing everything. I'm doing everything that I could possibly do to, show up again, to do this thing that I feel like you called me to do, right?
Yeah.
And I think at the whole time, looking back at it, like he was calling me to something else, right? He was calling me out of that into something else. And it was tough, man. And it was lonely. You know what I mean? Like throughout that journey, Leonard said this on the pod, like nobody calling. Nobody, everybody else calling for tickets, calling for a little this, that, here and there, calling to help them this, you know what I mean? Nobody calling. Phone dry. I'm talking about, I'm normally waking up in the morning, 20, 30 text messages. Now I'm waking up in the morning, 0, phone dead. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I thank God for like Lenny's relationship, myself and Lenny's relationship, right? Was able to transition into going from having 20 people that I thought were my friends to like having like 2.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and like it was a pruning season throughout. God not only didn't only take the game from me or transition me from the game, but like also people. You know what I mean? And that was a tough period. I started drinking. You know what I mean? It started having crazy thoughts. Like, am I worthy enough? Like, are people gonna see me the same? You know what I mean? Like kind of like how Mitch was on Paid in Full. I love the game. I love the hustle. People still gonna remember me, man. You know what I mean? Like it was like it was like all of that, and that was my ego, right? That was my ego, right? But at the same time, it was very tough trying to maneuver through that, not having the resources, right? Like I didn't have a therapist at that time. I didn't have some mental coach, reaching out to me. I didn't have a team checking them. Hey, Juice, how you feeling? I didn't have a coach, I remember I reached out to 4 pastors during this time. I reached out to a couple of my homies that I thought were my homies. Like, yo, bro, like I really could use it, like, some advice, man. I really could use like just me, like come and see you, bro. I don't care where you at, whatever. Hey, yeah, Juice, let me get you. Let me hit you right back. Nothing.
Man, that's insane because similarly, in a lot of ways, went through something similar to that. But what I take from everything that you said, that pruning period was key.
Yes.
Like really seeing who's really down for you and with you with your life, regardless, good and bad. And like I was being pulled away from the game because of some stuff with my dad, and I didn't even really realize that. But it also, through that process with my dad, I also got to see who are my true friends and my true relationships that are going, when I'm going through probably one of the toughest things I'm ever going to have to deal with, the death of my dad, who's going to stand by my side and who's going to be able to support me. So I'm curious for you, Lenny, and we touched a little bit about this on 4th and South. What was your transition like, and what allowed you to thrust yourself into this new life in those trials and tribulations that had to help you get there?
Definitely, man. I say, man, the isolation period from God is very, very real. When you going through a tough time, right? And like all of us, get, like me personally, I started questioning God. Like, God, like, take care of my parents, right? Take care of my kids. I do right. I believe in the Lord.
Yeah.
I didn't took care of my homies' moms when they needed assistance, right? I'm like, God, I'm a great person. Why I'm going through what I'm going through?
Yeah.
And I think Sue and Java, that was the biggest thing. Like, I kept questioning it, right? Not knowing the whole time dealing with that trial, it was gonna boost my confidence.
Mm-hmm.
It was gonna help me be the man that God wanted me to be. It was molding me the whole time.
Yeah.
So my what's one of my problems when I'm going through an isolation period and someone did me wrong, try to come back in my life, and me being a bigger person and forgiving them and letting them come back.
Yeah.
Right. And I had to start telling myself, I'm gonna move forward. You're going back into, I know you're being forgiven, right? You're being understanding, but at sometimes they show their character, they show who they truly are for a reason.
Yep.
Yeah, you can forgive, but always know that person is gonna be who that person is.
Yeah.
Move on with your life. That was just a season and a reason why they was there.
Yep.
Maybe I needed them for that season what I was going through, and they showed me the reason why I'm moving forward in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And I can honestly say, man, Sue, I used to wake up. My wife's not here right now; she left, but I could not sleep at nights.
Yeah.
Waking up 3 o'clock in the morning, right? Going to take drives, putting on my church music. Frustrated, man. Frustrated as hell because the thing is, God, I'm such a good dude. Yeah. Why am I constantly getting battle tested?
Mm-hmm.
And usually how my trials are, like one thing happened, then another thing happened, then another thing happened. I'm like it's happening back to back to back.
Yeah.
Right? And also, some of it does come from generational curses too.
Yeah.
Right? Dealing with multiple people, there's so many ways it happens, right? And I think if that didn't happen with me for football, I wouldn't have got closer to God. I wouldn't have started reading the Bible like I read now. I usually, my mom would send me a scripture, I read it and go on about my day. But I needed to get my own understanding of Him instead of somebody else's perception, their word, their understanding. So it happened for me. You know what I'm saying? So I'm kind of glad it happened that way.
Yeah, I think too, Sue and Lenny, I think, as athletes, and from the outside perspective, I think that there's a delusion that money is supposed to fix everything, right?
Oh, 100%.
Like, yeah. I think is a true delusion, right? Like, oh, he got $1 million some dollars. He shouldn't be stressed out. He shouldn't have mental issues. I think what people also don't realize is like, and I know I'm speaking for all of us here. Like, we've been doing it since we were 7, 8, 9 years old.
For free.
Yeah.
No, not even that, but just like that's been our sole focus to the point like that had become our identity, right? Yeah. And when you leave the game, like you have to find it's like who am I?
Yeah, for sure.
You have a moment like I'm like what do I like?
But Juice, it's crazy that you say that identity is huge because like you said, 7, 8 years old, granted I started a little bit later. I was more like 13, 14. But at the end of the day, everybody, you walk out, you say Sue, you say Juice, Jarvis Landry, Leonard Fournette. Oh, isn't that the football player? And I was at a gala last night. Young lady, works for JP Morgan, sitting next to her. And she's like, why didn't you start with having a conversation saying that you play football? Because she later on figured it out. And I was like, that's not who I am. That was a small part of my life.
Yeah.
Granted, it was a great small part of my life and I enjoy every piece of it, but I'm so much more. Just like Juice is so much more. Playoff Lenny is so much more than Playoff Lenny. Like there's so much more to us as individuals. Right. Y'all just happen to only see this shining bright star, but we got 10 other ones. Right. And so that's the thing that I wholeheartedly agree with you. Like understanding that you as yourself see yourself only in that identity, but just like everybody else. So now you're going through that transition to say, all right, I can also have a total different identity that becomes who I am and I'm
Right.
much more known for. And that's why I've always kind of been a person saying, yeah, I'm much more than an athlete, let alone I want to be more successful off the field than I was on the field.
Right. And it's
True.
hard to make that switch. And it's hard to make
Yeah.
that transition. And even the people around you sometimes don't understand that, right? And that, and that's what also leads to their distance, them creating distance from you and you feeling a type of way because they don't understand like, yo, I'm not getting an NFL check no more. Like I can't just send it. Like when every time you ask for it, you know, like no money coming in, no money going out. You know what I mean? Like, and that's, and people don't really understand that. They just think that, and even athletes, right? We think that this is gonna last forever. We think that we're gonna, all of us are gonna walk away from the game on our own terms. Yeah. And generally speaking, it never happens that way. It happens that way for a select few, bro. NFL stands for not for long, for a reason. Yeah. And I think that a part of my transition, man, that was the biggest thing. Like just trying to like, who am I? What do I like?
You're saying, what do you like and what did you transition to? I'm curious, was it business? Is it the podcast? Mm-hmm. Where did you transition to make your new shining star?
Well, man, and so it's constantly evolving, right? Like just like as players, like we're constantly evolving, right? We want to get better from last year from game to game, from year to year, right? And it's constantly evolving, right? But there are values that like I could stand on and say like, Jarvis Landry, this is my makeup. These are the pillars of integrity, loyalty, those are the pillars, right? But as far as like getting into things, man, like I'm living my answered prayer. Yeah. Right, I'm living, spending more time with my kids. You know, when we playing, we like, man, I missed the little one birthday. I missed the holiday because we got to go fly to somewhere else. You know what I mean? Now I'm getting the opportunity to like actually like do that and trying to be present. Like my girl always tell me, she's like, you need to be a little bit more present sometimes because I get it. Whatever I do, I go full tilt to it. You know what I mean? If it's business, I'm full tilt. If it's podcast, I'm full tilt. You know what I mean? So I have to understand, when to like pull back a little bit. But at this point in my life, bro, big into photography, bro, big into just networking, connecting dots for people, big creatively, big in philanthropy right now. Like that's been something that I do get so much joy from, going out and helping kids and like seeing communities be impacted. Like I genuinely love that. I love that. I feel like that's part of like who I am. I feel like that's part of the platform God gave me to be able to do these things post-career, right? So those are the things that like I'm in, I love, I'm passionate about. I get excited to talk about, to share news about, you know what I mean? Just the same way as catching a touchdown, being able to give a kid something that he didn't have yesterday. Now he got it today because we crossed paths, right? That means the world to me. So that's kind of like where I'm at now. Yeah.
No, I love it. Lenny, what would you say is your biggest win to date and why?
I say spending more time with my kids. I had kids young. It's like college, right? Always on a strict program. You know what I'm saying? So spend a little time with them there. And now going in my professional career, it's less time because guess what? Waking up at 6:30 in the morning, we got meetings. Saturdays, certain times, right? Can't sleep home with the kids, right? And it's like what you said, man. It's like missing certain points, and you gotta be careful what you ask for, right? I was like, man, God, I want to spend more time with my kids, but now I'm like, God, I ain't want you to do it like that. like not like that, right? But for me, I just think, man, it opens up so much more for me because, bro, every coach I didn't have, like, Leonard, bro, you more than just a football player. And I was be like, why they always tell me that? Like, man, they say anything I could do, I put my mind to, I could do it. I was like, why the fuck they always telling me that? Like, bro, every coach I had on every team told me that. So now I'm looking back, I started coaching my sons, coaching football. You know what I'm saying? We went 10-1. I'm like, damn. Yeah. I started doing this journey with, I collect Pokemon cards now. Okay. So like some of the rippers say, man, I got the touch of luck because I'm finding Holy Grail cards, chase cards. Yeah. They've been trying to chase for years. So just for me, finding myself outside of football, I've always knew who I was. Because football didn't make me. Like, you see guys like, in some instances, some guys like, I retired, they're going to announce that. I don't have to announce that because football doesn't make Leonard who he is. Like, I'm cool on that. So, and the biggest thing they say, man, you know, you still should be playing. Yeah, I should, but maybe God stopped me from playing, from missing you never know, an injury, some life causing to your health. Bro, I think about all that now that I have so much free time. And guess what? I still get business done. It's just I have more time. I have more things I can do with myself. Like, man, I can get to go outside and teach my son, scoop a ground ball, throw, right? I get to go teach not me personally, but I get to go help him be a better athlete or how to endure certain things. Cause like, you know, I'm gonna be real. Like, my sons spoil you a little bit, right? They ain't grow up how I grew up. So it's like, when we outside and when you talking about it's hot, now we gonna stay out here. Yeah, it's supposed to be hot. Cause guess what? This not easy. Life is not easy. Life, even being a father, bro, it doesn't come with no guidebook.
No, not at all.
It doesn't come with a guidebook. So it's like, I don't care what nobody say, bro. I have 5 kids. So for me, I have each and every one of my kids at a pivotal point in my life. Yeah. I had my oldest daughter to slow me down. You know, you're in that fast life, right? You're in that fast life. It's gonna slow you down. I had my oldest son off. You on child support now. You see what that gets you. You see what you playing them games, what it's gonna cost you. So I learned my lesson from that.
Yeah.
Now I'm back with my wife. I've been with my wife since 10th grade. My wife is the one for me. Right? Even when I was going through my stage from football to not playing, Leonard always spoke, always manifest. Even when I was mad, right? Yeah. She'll get up, right? Cook breakfast for the kids. She'll rub me. You're doing a great job. I'm like, what are you talking about doing a great job? Girl, I'm mad as But in hindsight, I'm so focused on not playing, not seeing the cause and effect with my kids. My kids happy that I'm home, right? They're happy. Oh, I get to take them to whatever sport they're playing. I get to take them to the jump place. That's to me, that's my favorite. Yeah, lady, let's go to the jump place. I'm jumping with them. I'm enjoying myself, right? It's something I couldn't do. So now in hindsight, Sue and Jarvis, I feel like the way our lives are going is supposed to go.
Yeah. Like everything happens for a reason, boss.
Happens for a reason. Football was just a minor part of our lives, but we have 40, 50, 60 more years to live. How can we impact people now?
Man.
Bro,
yeah,
I hop
God
on
willing,
calls,
for sure.
I hop on calls with people, bro. And people just want, the world is missing God. Like the world is, bro, I have testimonies from a child to a young man to a man now to a father. I try to pour that in each and every person I encounter. Just like with y'all, Sue, when I was there, bro. It was not a situation a young guy on our team was going through in Tampa that he couldn't talk to nobody. Everybody went through the similar things, just at different points. So I'm grateful for my OGs, the older guys that poured into me. Even when I was going through the child support thing, like to me, I'm like, why me? What? I put myself in that situation. I understood what I was doing. I lived through it. I moved on for it. And now my job is to make sure my sons don't do that. Right?
Yeah, for sure.
Don't fall for that bait, son. Everything gold everything glitter ain't gold, baby. You hear me? It might be out to get you.
Nah, man, this has been an amazing conversation, but I'm not gonna let neither one of y'all go without my favorite last one. Y'all have been through some amazing journeys, and as you think back through them, and we'll start with you, Juice. What has been the biggest price you've had to pay for a breakthrough to date?
That's a good one.
I'm gonna say mine. Mine was relationships. Cut the dead weight. Me thinking we family, we friends, but everyone had their own agenda, personal agenda.
Yeah.
To get what they had out of me financially and move on with their lives.
I would say maybe control. like I had to give up control, right? Like I had to stop being, I wouldn't even call it like selfishly in control, right? Like I just had to like relax into,
control the controllables.
Yeah, man. Like I man, that's a great question, Sue. Like I want to answer it in so many ways, bro. Like,
Yeah.
Oh man. I think the biggest thing, man, is just that, I'm so happy to be on, in the mental space that I'm in now.
Yep.
Because the one that I was in, bro, was very not good. You know what I mean? Was very like,
Negative.
Yeah, man. It was all of the horrors that you could think of, and I think that the biggest thing was that the peace that I have now, right? Like the comfort, the joy that I have, the new mindset, right? And it took a lot of trials and tribulations. It took a lot of like loneliness, isolation, losing people that you thought you loved, people, like, bro, I could tell you about a time where, now that I have more time to focus on my finances, now that I have more time to focus on things, I start seeing things that was always right in front of my face.
Yeah.
I was the same way. I'm glad you said that because I'm living in this big house upset. Everything I wanted as a young man, my kids, they happy, I have a family, I'm finally married. And I'm like, Leonard, why the f are you upset about? Like, why? Like, why?
You got the American dream, but it's not really the American dream that you want.
Comes at a price.
It does. But I can honestly say, bro, the thing that I'm grateful for is grace.
Yep. God
has spared my life in so many ways, and helped me, then taught me lessons, because I'm kind of the adolescent. I'm hard. So I have to bump my head a few times to get it. But through the grace of him and my relationship with Jarvis, because like even with that, like Sue, I wanted to start a podcast years ago.
Yeah.
Years ago, but I wasn't living right. What I was praying for and how I was living wasn't aligning.
Yeah.
So to anybody out there's gonna watch this, once you start aligning yourself with God, when you start figuring out who you are, who you're meant to be, and really give yourself to him, and I think that's when you give yourself to God finally, that's when the battle starts. Yeah. I'm like, there's shit now that, bro, I have to pray daily because people try to force you back into somewhere where you don't want to go, and you know what it calls you. It calls you your peace, your happiness, be angry. I'm not going back there. So I definitely appreciate you guys.
Yeah, man. Sue, what about you, man?
Man, there's been a lot of things. I think a combination would be simply relationships and understanding my peace and the people that really care about me. I never truthfully became a champion without my wife being in my life and her pushing me and being a cornerstone for that success. But also even more so, like, I would say the toughest thing that I had to go through was losing my dad. Like that was painful. But what it did open to me is like, I think about him every single day and he touches me in different ways to say, all right, you're making these right decisions, continue to in this path. Stop interacting with this person because I told you this and you didn't want to hear it when I was in the flesh, but now you're starting to see it. And one of the craziest things for me is like my boys, and you talk about experiences, Lenny, like my boys know how to drive a skid steer, an excavator, because my dad went and bought a piece of land that I was mad at him about 3, 4, 5 years ago. But now all last summer and even going into this summer, I got my kids out there every single day and we're just building stuff and using all types of equipment and things, and they enjoy it. Like you got 5-year-old boys that know how to use a skid steer and an excavator. Like to me, that's insane. So those are the different things that I think I had to, that was probably the toughest price I had to pay for a breakthrough from that standpoint. But Jarvis, Leonard, man, I appreciate both of y'all joining No Free Lunch. Make sure everybody, y'all go check out Fourth and South podcast as well. Yes, they're doing big things. Man, I appreciate y'all again. We'll talk here soon.
Man, love, so appreciate you, brother.
The information provided on this podcast is for informational purposes only and should not be considered financial or legal advice. Always consult with a qualified financial and or legal professionals before making any legal or financial decisions or investments.
Man, what a great conversation with both my guys, Jarvis Landry and Leonard Fournette. I want to say just a very thoughtful and
sometimes tough conversation to have with those guys, with just where the world is and how they look at you and the trials and tribulations of transitioning out of the game of sports. I think Jarvis is very key on his main thing being making the main thing, embracing your path, understanding that God has a plan for you and you really don't know what that is, but you need to go through that particular process. But really for both of them, just finding peace in that process. And even if it doesn't make sense to you, there's a reason why things happen. And I think controlling the controllables is a big part of that. So make sure you like, comment, subscribe to No Free Lunch on Apple, Spotify, or YouTube, or wherever you get your podcasts.